Hey, what is going on? We're back in Kane's Wrath, or should I say still in Kane's Wrath. I'm Sybert, your host, and we are going to have Green Zero on the left side of Tournament Rift, and on the right side we do have Spectre. Oh, by the way, Spectre, red nod, Green Zero, green GDI. On the other hand, he is going to be going for that early scouting squad and then going to be securing at least one of these spikes, and it does look like he is going for more scouts, so he is going to be setting these scouts around the map, and Spectre is doing the almost exact same thing. Both of these players playing as vanilla factions, and this is of course Game 3 ace match of the round of 3, best of 3, or rather, not round of 3, best of 3 from the GameReplays.org Kane's Wrath 1v1 August 25th tournament, and who is going to come out ahead in these battles? Oh, Green Zero for sure. He got the focus fire and the early attack, able to completely destroy those two squads out of Spectre, only losing a squad himself. Of course, he did have a squad advantage. And let's just face it, I mean, look at the GDI guys. They got it together. Those Nod guys, they're just random militant infantry. Look at them. They're hardly official, but going to be losing part of a squad there, and Green Zero going to be just sending his scouting squad around now. And unlike Spectre, who actually has nothing in terms of scouting squads, oh, just kidding, attack bikes, which, once again, War Factory placed on the north side, going to be completely useless for right now. Another refinery could be thrown down right there, and then I think that would be in range of those free repairs. And will these attack bikes be spotted by Green Zero? If he swings around anywhere, they will, and right there, they do get spotted, so Green Zero's like, hey, I need to pump out some pit bulls, and where is going to be the pit bulls? Right there happening. Pit bulls, he's like, hey, I got to get some defense, I got to get some units. He could even draft a watchtower, because watchtowers not too shabby against the almost no armor of these attack bikes, especially with no Tiberium core. They just hardly do anything unless you are a harvester, and then they are basically the devil, because those things are so crazy when microed properly. Attack bikes and pit bulls, of course. Pit bulls going to be heading out, chasing the attack bikes back across the map. Of course, pit bulls do more damage than those attack bikes, and attack bikes, either that or attack bikes, you just have less health than pit bulls. But Spectre going to be moving out, and this is not going to get spotted right away by Green Zero. He's going to be moving for that blue tib, which is a really weird choice, because you look how much blue tib there is, and it is not much, although you really only need 1.5 loads of tib to make it worth it. And the attack bike's going to be in here. They need to take down at least one harvester, and getting a harvester full of Tiberium is definitely a good way for Spectre to start out this game. But where the pit bulls not there, they in fact have pulled back 3 of them now to match the now 2 attack bikes. He did lose one, but pulling up here, you only need, I would say, 2 full loads of Tiberium to make it worth it. 1.5 technically, but 2 is pretty easy as well. So as long as you can get 2 full loads, then the expansion itself has paid for itself, not necessarily any production facilities or anything like that. But it's just a curious choice because, one, the green field is a little bit easier to secure, and the blue field, there's not a whole lot there right now. Of course, in Kane's Wrath, this will be spotted pretty quickly by Green Zero. Right about here, he should just turn these pits around and do some damage. Yes, even getting throwing down that barrack, so he definitely knew it was there. But oh hey, attack bikes are on the scene, able to snipe one of the pit bulls right there and grab both of the spikes away from Green Zero, although not really away from Green Zero since he didn't have them, but did get spotted pretty early on by Green Zero, so he knows it's here. And look at this, a Predator tank, 2 Predator tanks, and 2 pit bulls to spot the stealth units going to be here, and the attack bike's not going to be good enough. One of them goes down right there, which there goes a 5th of his attack power, 20%. They are going to be able to not get the Predator tank, which means they are going to take even more hits. Sniping that pit bull was definitely worth it, and now he can freely snipe the Predator tank. Predator tanks, of course, do more damage but fire more slowly, and you know, pit bull or Predator tanks have to split up there. Never mind. Attack bikes, on the other hand, going to be going down like crazy, and Spectre really needs to watch himself. Hiding around the backside of the War Factory is not a bad idea, except Green Zero can just roll on right over there and take out those attack bikes, sniping almost all of them down. I don't know if Green Zero can really press in here and do some major damage. It will definitely be worth it, and it might even be enough to force the GG out of Spectre, but we'll see if Green Zero can do it and take it to the finals, because we are tied up 1-1. Spoiler alert, this is game 3. But one of these pit bulls could go down, Predator tanks could go down fairly quickly, and these 2 Scorpion tanks staying alive longer than they should just because they're constantly being healed. And now they're going to get shots off on the rear armor, which is a pretty big deal, although 1 Scorpion tank did go down fairly quickly, and Green Zero needs to focus down the weakened Scorpion tanks. And dual War Factory out of Spectre going to be pumping out extra Scorpion tanks and extra attack bikes, which attack bikes, if they can swing around back, they can be pretty darn pesky while the Scorpion tanks take the damage. And I have no idea who's going to win here because both sides are reinforcing. Whoever can get the focus firing down better, and these militant squads are definitely going to be very useful, especially with that rear armor damage that they're doing. And now with the total surround on Green Zero's forces, I think Green Zero will get cleaned up here. At the very least, Spectre will hold the line and keep this expansion, but for how long, that remains to be seen, as Green Zero has got a full expansion going on down there, not completely saturated, but almost, and he needs to just kill off this 1 Predator tank, because why would you leave it alive and allow it to shoot at your stuff some more, getting off at just 1 final shot before going down there? And I'm curious to see as to who's actually ahead in the economy right now, because Blue Tip is pretty nice, but he's only got 1 harvester on it, while Green Zero is sitting at 4-2 and 1-1 up here as well, which isn't good, but it's not bad either. There we go. Now we are going to be at 6-2, need to be at 7-3, most likely going for a refinery right there, and pit bulls and Predator tanks are going to be the units of choice, but throwing in militant rocket squads into that building is not a bad choice either. They are going to be able to do quite a bit of damage, and it looks like that Blue Tip may have been a better choice than I thought, because just so many Scorpion tanks out of Spectre, and now getting his army split up is not what he wants, because he wants to either be engaging or retreating, and right now he's doing part of both, and he's going to be taking some losses because of it. Huge lag spike right there. I have no idea what that was about. Maybe some hard drive write issues or something. But Spectre going to be moving forward now with his Scorpion tanks. He's not really deciding. He needs to make sure he doesn't split his army up, as that will allow Green Zero to effectively divide and conquer, except for the dividing will be done by Spectre right for Green Zero, and Green Zero will not have to do a whole lot, and going to be going for dual MCV, which I can only guess this is eventually going to mean dual obelisk pushing, but we do see no tech almost out of Spectre. He is going to be moving nowhere. I thought he was going to be moving that MCV maybe a little bit further, maybe to the front line, but he's just going to be going for that dual production facility, which you may be asking, how in the world can he afford to produce off of that? Well, he can't, which is why he is not producing very much. Of course, 30 credits a second does help out, but going to be going for a little bit of damage on that power plant just to kind of put Spectre on edge, even though Spectre, as soon as he sees what Eva is talking about when she's saying your units are under attack, he'll be like, oh, that is absolutely fine, I'll kill that off in just a moment. But Spectre able to take down 1 refinery. Oh, just kidding, because there goes the flame tank, and Green Zero once again going with the Orcas, and we haven't seen anything too wonky out of Spectre yet in this game, just yet. We will hope to see something absolutely crazy and silly out of him, but he is going to be going for the airfield. Oh no, Green Zero! What in the world was that? That is no bueno. Going for the power plant as well, throwing down another airfield so that his Orcas can at least land and that they don't just get taken out, but another airfield will not go down, but a power plant does go down, and now that airfield is very low on HP, very susceptible to any more follow-up flame tanks if there happen to be any. But no, he is going to be pushing forward with one of his MCVs, going to be actually his original MCV. On the other hand, he does have a base defense queued up, which could be an obelisk. Yes, it is. There's the tech lab over there, going to be pushing with an obelisk and building another one right there, while we do have a little bit of flank, although the pit bull did go down. And once again, mine's going to be super effective, possibly right here, and they do get 3 of the Predator tanks. Pretty good shots off right there, and the Orca is going to be doing damage to that obelisk and taking it down, but the Redeemer Engineering Facility is on the front lines, and now the Orcas are heading around north to see what they can see, and the obelisk is going to be able to one-shot most of these tanks if he's firing on the right ones. Right there is going to be able to take out quite a few of those Predator tanks. although that one will be a 2-shot, and then he'll be able to 1-shot the remainder of those tanks, especially with help from the militant infantry and the regular infantry, the rifleman squads out of Green Zero, getting masked out by the militant squads from Spectre, and Spectre may very well be able to take this game, but Green Zero certainly is not out of it yet. His economy is lagging a little bit. He doesn't have a refinery up there, which means it's long-distance harvesting, and as you can see, he's got plenty of Tiberium, just nowhere to put it, and he can't spend the money that he's not getting because, well, he just doesn't have any refineries left, and going to be throwing down some base defenses, but this is a last-ditch effort. He does have AP ammo, which will help him out, but losing 2 orcas right there and taking damage to a third means that if it doesn't have time to heal up before it heads back out, it will go down super quickly, and going to be tier 3 avatars on the move now, and lots of man spam out of Spectre. I think this will be it for Green Zero, unless his hammerheads of doom can come in here and absolutely wreak havoc. He is going to be going for a bit of a base race. I don't know if he'll be able to actually compete. His base isn't super spread out, and his army is fairly mobile. Again, once again, pretty darn good hits with that Orca Strike support power. Hammerheads, do they have anything in them? No! Oh, it's just Hammerheads with AP ammo, which isn't too terrible, but it's not good either, and especially not in this situation, and not even an engineer out of Green Zero. That would have been great to see an engineer capture, but the power is down because he is base creeping like crazy and selling off that power plant, or rather losing it, or selling it off partway through. And the SAM turrets are going to be back online, and these hammerheads stack so much. Green Zero going to be going for that tier 2 tech to deny any more flame tanks, but also any more SAM turrets. But the obelisk is now in his base, and Spectre is possibly going to be able to finish out this game and finish out this series. But Green Zero has the same number of games won as Spectre, and he could very well take this game, but Spectre is in a stronger position. I would say he has taken heavy losses to his own forces, and this one rifleman squad trying to hold off the entire Nod army. Is it going to be good enough? The SAM turrets are here, and the splash damage will be no bueno for Spectre, for Green Zero. It'll be bueno for Spectre, no bueno for Green Zero. As you can see, I am bilingual because I know 6 words in Spanish. Yeah, 2 years of high school Spanish, that's what I got taught. Just bueno and no bueno. And no! Airfield does go down, which means now that these orcas have dropped their bombs, it is lights out for them. Just kidding, they actually haven't dropped all their bombs, but it is lights out anyway, and SAM turrets showing up all over the place, and even a watchtower because he was able to grab that refinery. Not able to grab that one due to the laser fencing, and also only having 1 engineer, and hammerheads taking so much damage. 2 SAM turrets do go down, and a third one is up here. Not to mention a 4th over here. I think this is going to be it for Green Zero because Spectre, never mind, where's Spectre's economy? It is basically gone. I thought that Spectre actually had something. He's got nothing. This could be a real solid base race. I was totally overestimating what Spectre actually had. He's basically just got this, and Green Zero is doing a pretty good job of keeping his hammerheads alive. Just kidding, as he did just lose at least 1 there. And oh, never mind. All the hammerheads will go down right there. Does Green Zero have any more attacking units left? Currently, no, and he is basically out of money except for what is over here. He does have 1 harvester, so he was able to grab that harvester. And he does have an airfield, but he's not producing anything, and I do not think he has too much in the way of money. He does have a watchtower down here, but no MCV to build anything else, and we do still have an almost fully healthed Redeemer, which epic units are pretty darn powerful. Just kidding, Green Zero grabbed that MCV. I totally missed that. Of course, completely my fault for missing that. Should have been paying more attention. Fortunately, those things just kind of happen. And going to be harvesting from this one field, so harvesting from Spectre's old field, and that MCV over here for Spectre. So both of these players now going to be Nod instead of GDI versus Nod, although there is a little bit of remnant GDI around the map for Green Zero. But now it's confusing as to who is who, because both of them are playing Nod, but still going for that GDI tech. What in the world is he going to be going for with this GDI tech? It will be very curious to see. I am definitely interested because now both of these players, I don't know who's at an advantage. I want to say Spectre just because he's got more stuff, but Green Zero could definitely take this game back. and take it to the finals? We will absolutely see. Green Zero, what in the world do you have planned? He's not going for any sort of tech, and he did sell off that war factory. He's not going for any upgrades at the tech center, which is quite curious because he dropped 4 grand on that, and right now when you've got only very little income and there's not much Tiberium near you, you want to be able to have as much money as you can to put into that army. But Green Zero, what is going on up here? Oh, just kidding! A reclamator hub, so that's what he's been putting all of his money into, and that's why he's got the tech center. But just kidding, because he doesn't need it to build a Redeemer. Just kidding, he can't build a Redeemer, but he doesn't need it to build a Marv, rather. And now Spectre is probably going to clean this up here, and then he's going to say, well, what in the world is left? He's going to say this over here is left, and I don't think he's spotted this base up here, but he may very well with these attack bikes. Yep, right there, he sees it, and he says, oh, hey, Green Zero, that's what you've been up to. So Green Zero does have quite a bit of money in his bank account left over from selling off this base. He did get 1,500 credits from selling off that tech center. And there's the Marv. He sells off the Reclamator hub immediately, and he is going to be taking out a couple of those attack bikes, 3 of them to be exact, and then garrisoning He is going to go for Missile Squad, and then Zone Trooper and Engineer, and possibly following it up with another Engineer or another Missile Squad. Definitely doesn't have enough for another Zone Trooper, not to mention not having the tech for Zone Troopers as well, and 1 Harvester for Green Zero. No, just kidding, he's got 2 more over here, and probably a couple more scattered throughout the map. It's hard to tell, and this 1 Militant Squad for Green Zero going to be like, hey, I just want to take on the entire army of the enemy for myself. And Green Zero, he doesn't even need harvesters because he is just going to harvest this entire field, which could definitely put him back in the game. Of course, if you've ever done this with a Marv, you know that it is absolutely so much fun to just harvest that much Tiberium. And he does have 2 Engineers, which is twice the repair power of Spectre's Redeemer, but the attack bikes, so many of them, if they can get the surround on the Marv, they will be able to do quite a bit of damage to that rear armor, and it does look like the attack bikes are just going to be heading around the map and looking for stuff to kill, while Green Zero, on the other hand, going to be trying to use his Marv as a harvester, which is not a bad idea in this situation. And Spectre, on the other hand, while he does have a lot of stuff, he doesn't really have too much stuff that's actually doing anything. So he's got a lot of, buildings and structures, but he doesn't have a lot going on. And here we do have the battle of the epic units. Who is going to be able to take out the win in this battle? Neither player has anything to support but Spectre. Oh, just kidding. Mine drop right on top of the Marv is going to be absolutely detrimental if it moves at all. And extra damage being dealt from these railguns and also from the missile squads that are in here. And then, of course, the self-healing ability from that Marv is going to try and take out those mines. And here come the attack bikes in to do almost no damage. They are just scattering rockets all over the place. No focus firing from Spectre. They are now focusing down a power plant just to slow production, and then also going to be going for the barracks, but they are getting torn apart by just infantry. Just that tier 1 going to be good enough, and the Redeemer is going to be taking a couple of pot shots. It is stealth, although it does still throw quite a shadow for being, invisible. And the rage generator does go off, which means these units are now going to attack their allies because they are absolutely crazy. How do you explain that one to your superiors? Well, all of a sudden we all decided it would be a really good idea to shoot each other. And it's Nod's fault. So there you go. I am still a very responsible commander. Do not question me. That's how I would do it. That's what I would say to my superiors, because obviously that's how you talk to your superiors in the military. And obviously this is a very realistic military simulator. But the Redeemer going to be pushing on forward up to full health, while the Marv is going to get healed up by this War Factory out of Green Zero. Honestly, I can't say who's going to win. I thought Spectre had an advantage, and then I realized he didn't have a whole lot, and Spectre is now getting back on track. But Green Zero does have some pretty hefty income from the Marv, so he could definitely take this game, and taking out those 4 attack bikes in about 5 seconds is definitely going to be good on him. Both players each have 2 Tiberium spikes, and Green Zero just has this 1 hero militant guy, and he's like, I'll just shoot everything all day long forever. Another thing you don't see very often is beam cannons, but even less often you see beam cannons charging an obelisk for that additional attack power. I don't even know if I've seen that in a multiplayer game. Many things that I have not seen in multiplayer games are being seen today, or rather over these past few matches. And as soon as that obelisk fire, it's going to be so charged up, it's going to be so jacked. It's like 50 shots of cocaine or some other sort of drug that gets you jacked up. And now anyone who's actually done cocaine is like, that's not what happens when you do cocaine. Well, I wouldn't know, but vertigos, I do know, do a ridiculous amount of damage to Mars. Also, sonic emitters. And once again, going for that rage generator, always a good option, because hey, if you can force your enemy to attack each other, why the heck wouldn't you? Because it's just fun to do. And here we are going to be seeing the Operations Center just for that build radius, throwing down another obelisk and selling off the one, and now he is going to be even powering that obelisk up. And if Green Zero loses this Marv, that may very well be it. That hero militant squad down there by himself. I guess you can't really call him a squad, but the Vertigos are here to bomb the crap right out of that Marv. And oh, with the mine drop as well. Mine drop, not the best, but it was enough to take down Green Zero's Marv, and I think that's it out of Green Zero. Honestly, I could see him coming back and winning this game and just like, hey, I've got a couple of ion cannons in the back of my base. You want to play with them? Because kaboom, you're dead. But Green Zero, honestly, has fought pretty well in this game. A little bit more of a standard game today that we saw on Tournament Rift, but that is going to be it. Green Zero played well, GG, but Spectre advancing on to the finals. I don't know if I'm going to cast the finals, because one of the players who played in them did say that they were pretty sucky, and so I don't even know if I am going to cast those, because these games, while the first two weren't like super crazy awesome macro giant battle games, they were fun to watch, which is always what I'm interested in. And this game, a little bit more on the crazy big battle macro side of things, but not exactly, not the craziest, biggest battles that we've ever seen. But this tournament overall producing some not too shabby games. Of course, I haven't seen most of them from the earlier rounds, but that is okay. I hope you enjoyed it, because I enjoyed it, and I am Sybert, signing out.